Good morning and happy Monday, Math 7 students. Is there even a such thing as a happy Monday? I don't really know. Hopefully you have a happy Monday. So this is notes for 2-4, Unit 2, Lesson 4, Mixed Operations with Rationals. So the first little bullet point we're going to talk about here is that you need to remember your fraction rules. Remember, those fraction rules can be found in the previous lessons that we looked at, lesson 2-2/2-3 notes, if you need a review on those fraction rules. But just in case, we're going to talk about them briefly here. So first fraction rule, our common denominators. So think about what operations we need common denominators for. We have that keep, flip, change, or that keep, change, flip, whichever way. Actually, it's keep, change, flip. Let's not kid ourselves. Keep, change, flip. What operation is that for? When we're using cross-canceling, what operation are we allowed to cross-cancel with? So common denominators, that is for adding and subtracting fractions. Keep, change, flip is for dividing fractions. And cross-canceling is used when you're multiplying fractions only. So keep those things in mind. Check out what operation you have going on and what kind of a thing that means you need to look at. So now we're keeping in mind those fraction rules, but at the same time, and this is where it gets a little tricky, at the same time, we also have to remember our integer rules for always and forever. Those integer rules don't go away. They apply to rationals. They apply to all the numbers we're going to look at this year and in math for the rest of your life, really. So just a quick review of these things. When you're adding, and again, remember, all of these rules are for two numbers at a time. You never look at three numbers at the same time. You're only ever doing two at a time and then, moving on to that next one. So when you're adding, if you have same signs, you're adding and keeping the signs. Different signs, you're subtracting and keeping the larger sign, whichever you had more of. That's where you're thinking about that little bubble. If you were to do those bubbles, do you have more plus signs or more minus signs in there? When you're subtracting, you want to consider that adding the opposite piece, keeping that first number, changing the second to subtraction, and then taking the opposite of that third number. Then you go back to your first box and use those adding rules again. Or you're checking yourself in your calculator. You've got to get something in order so you can check yourself here. And then finally, with your multiplying and dividing here, you just need to remember that if you have same signs, it's positive, different signs are negative. And again, that's with two numbers at a time. Now, there is yet another thing that you need to be keeping in your head, and this is why I encourage you to use your notes and to use a calculator, because you have a lot that you need to be thinking about and a lot that you need to be remembering while you're doing these problems. Fraction rules, integer rules, and order of operations all at the same time, it's kind of a lot. So following those order of operations, if you don't remember about order of operations, you can find that in our notes from 0-2, which I actually have right here in case, we needed to look at that. So 0-2, order of operations, is that fancy acronym GEMS, where you are starting off with your groupings first, followed by any exponents, multiplication, or division, whichever comes first from left to right, and then finally subtraction or addition, again, whichever comes first in order from left to right, the way that you read. Very, very important. Use your notes. We'll take a look at examples in the next video.